unless you're going to go in there and let her punch you without you punching her at all, without you trying to win at all, without you competing, you just want to be a punching bag, unless that's what you talk about doing. Here are the scenarios.
Claressa Shields got a real big problem, as Alycia Baumgardner is apparently going to press charges on Claressa Shields for assault.
Yeah, I think it's important to give a young woman advice to know what it is to stand in power, what it is to trust your power, what it is to be still and to follow through when things get hard, when things don't seem to go your way. I think it's important to really mentor the same way I was poured into somebody else, because it really goes a long way.
What does this mean moving forward for both fighters? Well, one, Claressa can't go to MVP events anymore, but seeing that MVP controls like a huge swath of the top female talent, it might make it a little harder for fights for her to get made if they go ahead and decide to work together in co-promoting a fight, or one of their fighters that Claressa wants to fight when she moves back down divisions. I believe her last fight has been at 175 and heavyweight, if I stand correctly.
Imagine reaching the very top of your sport, becoming an undisputed champion and one of boxing's most dominant athletes, only to find yourself shut out from some of the biggest stages almost overnight. That is the situation Claressa Shields reportedly finds herself facing. In a story that has sent shockwaves throughout the combat sports world, Jake Paul's Most Valuable Promotions, MVP, announced that Shields is banned from attending future MVP events following an alleged backstage altercation with fellow world champion Alycia Baumgardner. According to reports, what began as a heated verbal confrontation inside a VIP area escalated into a physical incident, triggering widespread controversy across the boxing community. The fallout has sparked intense debate among fans, fighters, and media personalities alike. Adding another layer to the story, sports commentator Stephen A. Smith, who has a well-documented history of public disagreements with Shields, also weighed in, making his reaction one of the most closely watched responses to the controversy.
She's the pound-for-pound king in women's boxing. I don't want to rain on Claressa Shields' parade because I want her to get whatever she wants. I got a lot of respect.
The controversy reportedly began during a recent high-profile fight event attended by some of the biggest names in boxing and entertainment. According to accounts of the incident, the long-running tension between Claressa Shields and Alycia Baumgardner reached a boiling point inside a private VIP area, far from the presence of a referee or the setting of a sanctioned bout. The two champions allegedly crossed paths, and what started as a heated verbal exchange quickly escalated. Grainy cell phone footage that later circulated online appeared to capture the aftermath of the confrontation, fueling widespread debate across social media. Reports surrounding the incident claim that Shields allegedly lunged toward Baumgardner and struck her in front of a stunned group of onlookers, turning what had been a private dispute into one of the biggest talking points in the combat sports world.
Your way.
Get out of the way. I want to get in there. No. World star.
Not right now.
I'll referee. I'm calling her to get referee.
As footage of the reported incident spread rapidly across social media, the controversy quickly became one of the biggest talking points in boxing. While many fans debated what had happened, Jake Paul's Most Valuable Promotions, MVP, responded with a strong public statement addressing the situation. The promotion condemned the reported altercation and announced that Claressa Shields would no longer be permitted to attend future MVP events. According to the company, while heated rivalries and verbal exchanges are common in combat sports and often help promote major fights, any alleged physical confrontation outside the ring crosses a line that the organization considers unacceptable. The decision immediately sparked widespread discussion throughout the boxing community, with supporters and critics debating whether the reported disciplinary action was appropriate and what it could mean for Shields moving forward. According to Most Valuable Promotions, MVP, the reported incident reflected conduct they believe is inconsistent with the standards they want to uphold for women's boxing and their events. The promotion stated that its decision was intended to reinforce expectations for professional behavior, announcing that Claressa Shields would not be permitted to attend future MVP events rather than issuing a temporary suspension. The move immediately became one of the most debated stories in the sport. However, the reported ban did little to quiet the controversy. Shortly afterward, Alycia Baumgardner released a strongly worded public statement alleging that the confrontation was part of a broader pattern of hostile behavior and suggesting that the matter could ultimately be handled through the appropriate legal channels. By raising the possibility of legal action, the dispute expanded beyond a personal rivalry and became a much larger public controversy. The incident quickly divided the boxing community, with supporters on both sides passionately defending their preferred fighter. While many fans praised Baumgardner for remaining composed and professional in her response, others questioned whether the disagreement should ultimately be settled through legal channels or inside a sanctioned boxing ring. The debate has continued to grow, making the rivalry one of the most talked about stories in women's boxing discussion. Alycia Baumgardner has established herself as one of the highest-earning stars in women's boxing. Through championship success, major promotional deals, and appearances on some of the sport's biggest cards, she has built one of the strongest financial profiles in the division. Her growing popularity and marketability have helped make her one of the most recognizable names in women's boxing, consistently attracting attention from fans and sponsors alike. Many observers point to her ability to combine elite performances inside the ring with a strong public presence outside of it as a key reason for her commercial success. Regardless of where she ranks among the sport's top earners, Baumgardner has become one of the biggest financial success stories in women's boxing and continues to play a major role in the sport's continued growth.
Fucking with a married man.
The controversy has also fueled plenty of opinion and speculation about the rivalry between the two champions. Some commentators believe the tension goes beyond what happened at the event, arguing that it reflects years of competitive rivalry, contrasting personalities, and the attention both fighters receive from fans and the media. Alycia Baumgardner has built a strong following through her success in the ring and her public image, while Claressa Shields remains one of the most accomplished athletes in boxing history, with an unmatched championship resume across multiple weight classes. As a result, supporters on both sides have offered very different explanations for the conflict, with some viewing it as the product of an intense personal rivalry rather than a single isolated incident. Regardless of the differing opinions, both fighters continue to rank among the biggest names in women's boxing, ensuring that every development in their ongoing feud attracts enormous attention from the combat sports world.
Yeah, you fucking with a married man at the end.
The controversy has only fueled even more speculation about the personal rivalry between the two champions. Some commentators believe Claressa Shields may find it especially frustrating to see Alycia Baumgardner enjoying widespread popularity while continuing to establish herself as one of the biggest stars in women's boxing. At the same time, Shields remains one of the most accomplished fighters the sport has ever produced, with an unmatched resume that includes world titles across multiple weight classes and numerous historic achievements. Following the reported decision by Most Valuable Promotions, MVP, to ban her from attending future company events, many observers believe Shields is unlikely to have any involvement with MVP moving forward. Whether that situation changes in the future remains uncertain, but for now, the rivalry continues to dominate headlines, with fans and analysts offering sharply different opinions on everything that has unfolded.
Yeah, you fucking with a married man at the end of the day. Let's do better.
Claressa Shields, however, showed no intention of backing down from the controversy. Instead of remaining silent, she took to social media to present her version of events, arguing that the incident had been exaggerated by widespread media coverage. According to Shields, Alycia Baumgardner was the one who initiated the verbal confrontation, and she maintained that important details leading up to the altercation had been ignored. Shields suggested that the public narrative had unfairly portrayed Baumgardner as the victim while overlooking her own perspective on what occurred. Her comments immediately fueled even more debate across the boxing community, with supporters on both sides defending their respective fighters. As a result, the controversy continued to dominate headlines, with fans, media personalities, and fellow boxers remaining sharply divided over what truly happened and who should ultimately be held responsible.
Southpaw, it don't matter. Did I beat the best or not?
Stephen A. Smith commenting on a major boxing controversy is nothing unusual, but his history with Claressa Shields makes his reaction particularly noteworthy. The two have been involved in several high-profile public disagreements over the years, creating a well-documented rivalry that has often generated headlines within the boxing community. Their previous exchanges have included sharp criticism, differing opinions about the sport, and personal responses that turned simple commentary into a much larger public feud. Because of that history, many fans viewed Smith's reaction to the latest controversy through a different lens, believing that their long-standing disagreements added extra significance to everything he had to say about the situation.
Anyway, as you saw on the tape, Claressa wound up there, cocked back, bop, right in the mouth for some confrontation that they're having. Now, let me tell you what my thoughts are on this, because Claressa then doubles down and she puts out a tweet which basically says, yeah, that's what you get when you mess with Claressa. Get the taste slapped out your mouth. Something to that effect. I'll put it up in the graphic in the video. But here's my thing, man. This is great promotion. It's great promotion. It really is. I love it. It's going to be good for Alycia Baumgardner. It's going to be good for Claressa Shields. It's going to be good for their careers. Because you know why? Because ratchet sells. A few years ago, I forget when they put that term to rest, right? Where you just have scantily dressed women over the top with loud mouths screaming back and forth, man. You see Krishan Rock going through that in the fights that she's having with these people in these real life, dramas. I really think that, these people are starting to plan these things out because they're basically being podcasters. What do you call it? In real life, RIL podcasters, in real life podcasters, where like you see Alycia Baumgardner being filmed with, I think the guy's name is DDG, and she's doing live streams with him. She's in the boxing gym with them, right? They're kind of teaming up with those type of streamers. You have Ryan Garcia, who you saw just last night do a live stream with Tekashi 6ix9ine. They're dressing just alike, and you see Adrian Bronner running around with Dean the Great, and and they're dressing alike. So it's just a big production that these guys are putting on, trying to get their name out there and trying to keep this conversation going, man. In this very, very, very how can you say swamped media land, and the bigger a fool you act, the more attention that you're going to.
Years earlier, Claressa Shields and Stephen A. Smith were involved in a highly publicized war of words after Shields strongly criticized his comments about women's boxing. She accused Smith of holding unfair views toward female fighters, challenged his understanding of the sport, and openly rejected his analysis. Their exchange quickly gained widespread attention across the boxing world, turning into one of the most memorable public disagreements between a fighter and a sports commentator. While Shields firmly defended both her accomplishments and women's boxing as a whole, Smith stood by his opinions, leaving the relationship between the two noticeably strained. Because of that well-documented history, Many fans viewed his reaction to the latest controversy as carrying additional weight, with their past disagreements providing important context for why his comments attracted so much attention.
Stop thinking about women and love and breasts and titties. It's a sport, bro. Don't nobody want to keep hearing that. It's like we are in a year of 2021. If you don't know that women are in sports yet, I don't know where you've been. But when you speak about combat sports, to men who cannot hit the pads better than me, to men who cannot punch faster than me, punch harder than me, to men who cannot beat me up, please do not tell me you don't like seeing women box in the ring, or you don't like seeing women in combat sports. What, you don't like seeing this up in combat sports because you can't do it? Because you don't know how to fight? That's what it all boils down to for me. I think that men who think that women shouldn't be in the ring fighting are upset because they cannot fight. I don't know any other way to put.
The reported disciplinary action has sparked a wider debate throughout the combat sports community. On one side, many people believe Most Valuable Promotions, MVP, was justified in taking a firm stance, arguing that any alleged physical altercation outside a sanctioned contest is unacceptable and should carry serious consequences regardless of who is involved. Others, however, believe the controversy has raised broader questions about consistency within combat sports. They point to previous incidents involving male fighters that generated significant publicity and eventually became part of major promotional storylines, arguing that different situations have sometimes appeared to receive different public and organizational responses. At the same time, many observers caution that every incident has its own unique circumstances and should be judged on its individual facts rather than compared directly to unrelated cases. As a result, the discussion has expanded beyond the reported altercation itself, becoming a broader conversation about accountability, fairness, and whether disciplinary decisions across the sport are applied consistently to everyone. Sport.
So what do you like about men fighting? I mean, they all sweaty and they all muscular and they all laying on each other, and you like that? But you don't like women fighting each other, doing the exact same thing? Like, you would think you would want to see women do that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it just don't correlate with me. Like if you like boxing, no matter who's doing it. No matter who's doing it. So don't say, oh, you don't like when women do it because women are so nice, so fragile. Dudes are so nice and so fragile. What? Okay, dudes got muscles. So do I. I'm a girl. You know? So I just rather people who don't know how to fight and don't know how to box, you just be quiet. Seriously. You just shut up. Especially if you don't know how to box better than me. For real. Like, you can hit the pads. Like, I honestly seen Stephen A. Smith hit the pads. And that's why I think he don't like women's boxing. Because they got some women, a lot of them, who, especially the world champs like myself, Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, a bunch of us who box better than him. So he may be a little offended by that. But that don't mean that you tell us, you know, oh, you don't like women in combat sports because you can't do it better than them.
The controversy has quickly become one of the most talked about stories in women's boxing, transforming what was reportedly a private disagreement into a headline-making debate across the combat sports world. The reported ban from Most Valuable Promotions, discussions of possible legal action, and the wave of media coverage have kept the rivalry at the center of attention. Claressa Shields has continued to stand by her version of events, while Alycia Baumgardner has maintained that the matter should be taken seriously and handled appropriately. Meanwhile, commentators, fellow fighters, and fans have remained divided, with many revisiting past rivalries and public disagreements as they weigh in on the situation. Whether this controversy ultimately changes the sport or simply becomes another unforgettable chapter in boxing history remains to be seen. What do you think? Was the reported response justified, or has the incident sparked a larger conversation about fairness and consistency in combat sports? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest boxing news, analysis, and exclusive updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Me personally, I would never get in Claressa Shields' face talking about I'm gonna beat your ass, because what if she takes me up on that offer? Then what? Y'all saw how she slapped that lady? That was the slap heard around the world. I'm talking about no, you're teaching no. I gotta stay in my lane. I would have to say something like, I challenge you to an intellectual debate and exchange of ideas. So if y'all don't know what happened, Claressa Shields and Alycia Baumgardner have apparently been beefing online for a little minute now. They're both professional boxers. They end up seeing each other in person, and from the clips, it looked like it started off as regular boxer trash talk. Alycia was like, I'm gonna beat your ass, and Claressa was like, beat who?
World star.
Not right now.
I'll referee.
Now, mind you, there were people separating them already. Security, people standing around, the whole thing. Then Claressa allegedly hauled off and slapped her. Now, a lot of people are criticizing Alycia because apparently after everything happened, she said, get my lawyer on the phone, charges and press. Y'all have to understand, everybody don't fight. Some people press charges. Now, in this case, Alycia actually does fight. She's literally a boxer, but no, it does not look like she tried to fight Claressa back. She probably didn't want to get banned from all events over a backstage altercation. And speaking of banned, yes, Claressa is apparently banned from attending future MVP events now. But yeah, from a legal perspective, if Alycia does press charges, it'll be for assault and battery, maybe even with a deadly weapon, because Claressa, those hands can be fatal. I don't know, but I will say, a lot of people feel like if you walk up to somebody saying, I'm going to beat your ass, and then they uno reverse, you don't get to feel bad. But I do have a solution. As the judge in this case, I've heard enough and I'm ready to pronounce my sentence. Alycia, you need to get your weight class up. Claressa, you need to get your weight class down, and y'all both need to get in the ring and settle this properly. And I do think Alycia deserves one complimentary free swing. I know Claressa did not sneak her technically, but they also weren't exactly squared up and ready to fight either. So that slap definitely came out of nowhere in my opinion. So I do feel like Alycia should get one freebie before the bell rings. Court is adjourned. Good luck to both parties.